I never forgot the humiliation on my first day. Too simple, they said as they fired me. 5 years later, I stood in that same office, signing papers to buy the company. They never knew I'd been building my empire all along, and now they worked for me. Join me on an extraordinary journey of heartbreak, redemption, and sweet success as I share how being underestimated became my greatest advantage. Subscribe now to hear more incredible true stories of underdogs who changed the game forever. I never thought my simple upbringing would be weaponized against me. Growing up in Pine Grove, population 3,742, I learned the value of hard work from my parents, who ran the town's only hardware store. Every summer since I was 14, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. to help stock shelves before school. That work ethic carried me through community college, then a state university scholarship where I graduated top of my class in marketing. For 3 years after graduation, I worked at a local advertising agency, saving every penny while applying to jobs in the city. When the email from Horizon Marketing arrived in my inbox, I had to read it 3 times to believe it. We are pleased to offer you the position of Junior Marketing Strategist, my dream job. The prestigious firm that handled accounts for Fortune 500 companies wanted me. I spent my entire savings on a professional wardrobe. Nothing flashy, just classic pieces that would help me blend in. The night before my first day, I barely slept. My stomach was a knot of excitement and terror as I laid out my outfit. A simple navy blazer, white blouse, and pencil skirt. Professional but not presumptuous. I practiced my introduction in the mirror. Hi, I'm Rachel Stevens, new junior marketing strategist. The Horizon building was a glass tower that seemed to touch the clouds. I arrived 30 minutes early, clutching my leather portfolio, a graduation gift from my parents. The security guard smiled kindly as he directed me to the 43rd floor. The elevator ride felt endless, my reflection in the polished doors showing a woman trying desperately to look like she belonged. When the doors opened, I stepped into a minimalist wonderland of white and chrome. The receptionist pointed me toward the conference room for new employee orientation. I was the first one there, of course. 20 minutes later, as other new hires filtered in with their designer bags and confident smiles, a woman entered who made everyone straighten in their seats. Diana Powell. I recognized her from the company website. Executive Creative Director, Harvard MBA, former marketing executive at 3 global brands. Her silk blouse probably cost more than my monthly rent. She didn't speak as she scanned the room, her eyes landing on me like I was a stain on her immaculate floor. The morning orientation went smoothly until team assignments. Diana personally handled the marketing strategy division. She asked each of us to introduce ourselves and share our vision for our role. When my turn came, my rehearsed speech felt childish. I spoke about authentic connections and community-based marketing, approaches that had worked in my small-town agency. Interesting, Diana said, her tone suggesting it was anything but. Very simple. By lunchtime, I was summoned to HR. Diana stood next to the HR manager, arms crossed. "We've decided this isn't a good fit," the manager said, not meeting my eyes. "Ms. Powell feels your approach is too rudimentary for our clients. We need innovators, not simplicity." I didn't cry until I reached the street, clutching my personal items in a box they'd provided, fired after 4 hours. I called my parents from a coffee shop bathroom, sobbing as customers knocked impatiently. That night in my tiny apartment, rejection crushed me like a physical weight. I'd failed before I'd even begun. The city lights blurred through my tears as I wondered how something as innocent as being simple could be my downfall. That night, I cried until my eyes burned. My tiny apartment felt like it was closing in on me. When the sun rose, I made a decision that would change everything. I refused to let Diana's words define me. Being simple wasn't a flaw. It was clarity, authenticity, something the marketing world desperately needed but had forgotten. I started small, creating social media content for local businesses who couldn't afford agencies. My first client was the coffee shop where I'd spend hours applying for jobs. The owner noticed me working diligently in the corner booth. "You always look so focused," he said, sliding a free refill my way. "What is it you do?" When I explained my marketing background, he mentioned needing help with his social media. That $200 job became my foundation. It was at that same coffee shop where I met Nathan. He'd ordered a complicated drink that the barista messed up twice. Instead of getting angry, he laughed it off. Our eyes met over my laptop screen, and he smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. He sat at the table next to mine, and we exchanged glances for days before he finally spoke. "You're here as much as I am. What are you working on so intently?" Over peppermint lattes, I told him about my business dreams. Unlike others who'd smile politely, Nathan asked questions that showed he was truly listening. A week later, he brought me wildflowers wrapped in brown paper. "For your first official office," he said, gesturing to my regular corner table. It was the sweetest gesture anyone had made since my arrival in the city. As my client list grew, so did my relationship with Nathan. He believed in my vision when I pitched my first big client, a local brewery needing a rebrand. When they signed, Nathan surprised me with champagne. We celebrated on my apartment rooftop, talking until sunrise about our dreams. His gentle kiss that night felt like a promise. My business approach was everything Diana had scorned, straightforward strategies that connected brands with real people. No gimmicks, no jargon. Within 18 months, I had 3 employees working from a small office space. Nathan helped me paint the walls on weekends, stealing kisses between coats of New Beginning blue. My breakthrough came when a regional supermarket chain hired us for their rebrand. Their marketing director had been at the orientation that day at Horizon. "I remembered how authentically you spoke," she told me. "That's exactly what our brand needs." That contract allowed me to hire 3 more people and move to a proper office downtown. The view wasn't as impressive as Horizon's, but it was mine. 2 years after that humiliating first day, my company, Simply Effective Marketing, had 20 employees and a reputation for campaigns that actually connected with consumers. Big clients were starting to notice, attracted by our refreshingly straightforward approach. Nathan became my rock through every triumph and setback. On our 1-year anniversary, he filled my office with daisies, not roses, because he remembered me mentioning they were my grandmother's favorite. That night over dinner, he reached for my hand and said, "You're extraordinary, Rachel. Your simplicity isn't a limitation. It's your superpower." Our relationship deepened as my business grew. Nathan's technology consulting firm often collaborated with my marketing team. Our professional partnership as seamless as our personal one. Weekend getaways became our sanctuary. Small cabins by lakes, quiet beaches where we'd walk for hours talking about everything and nothing. During a sunset stroll along the shore on a long weekend, Nathan stopped suddenly. When I turned, he was kneeling in the sand, holding a small wooden box. "You've shown me that the most beautiful things in life don't need to be complicated," he said, opening it to reveal a simple, solitaire diamond. "Will you marry me?" I barely whispered yes before falling into his arms, the waves lapping at our feet as we held each other. Our wedding was exactly what we wanted, intimate and heartfelt in a meadow outside the city. Nathan's eyes never left mine as we exchanged vows. Our honeymoon in Bali was 2 weeks of pure bliss, mornings swimming in crystal waters, afternoons exploring temples, evenings tangled together watching sunsets from our private bungalow. It was during our honeymoon that I received an unexpected email from a business acquaintance. "Horizon Marketing is on the verge of bankruptcy, poor management and loss of major accounts. They're looking for buyers." I showed Nathan, my heart racing. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. "What are you thinking?" he asked, knowing me too well. "I'm thinking it's time to go full circle," I replied. Back home, I worked with our financial team to create a solid acquisition proposal. Horizon had lost their edge. Their complicated strategies and inflated promises had finally caught up with them. They needed what we had: authenticity and results. When the day came to present our offer, I wore the same navy blazer from my first day, a reminder of how far I'd come. The Horizon building hadn't changed, but I certainly had. Confidence replaced the nervousness in my stomach as I rode the elevator to the 43rd floor. The boardroom was tense when I entered. Horizon's executives looked defeated, nothing like the intimidating figures I remembered. And there was Diana, thinner now, strain evident in the lines around her eyes. She glanced at me without recognition as I set my portfolio on the table, the same one I'd carried on my first day. Simply, effective marketing is prepared to acquire Horizon under the following terms, I began, laying out our offer. Diana frowned slightly, studying my face. Halfway through my presentation, I saw the moment recognition dawned in her eyes. Her face paled. When I finished, there was silence until the CEO spoke. Your company has an impressive trajectory, but I have to ask, why Horizon specifically? I smiled, looking directly at Diana. 5 years ago, I was fired from this company after just 4 hours. I was told my approach was too simple for your sophisticated clients. Now those clients are coming to me. The shock in the room was palpable. Diana's hands trembled slightly as she shuffled her papers. We made a mistake, the CEO admitted. The acquisition agreement was signed that afternoon. As everyone filed out, Diana lingered. I don't expect you to keep me on, she said quietly. I would, I replied, if you're willing to learn something new. The transition wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I renamed the merged company Horizon simply, acknowledging the past while embracing a new direction. Some employees resisted the changes, but many embraced our more balanced approach. Surprisingly, Diana became one of my strongest allies. Her expertise combined with my philosophy created something powerful. I spent years making things complicated to justify higher fees, she confessed one late night as we reworked a major campaign. Your way actually works better. Nathan and I celebrated our first anniversary the same month the merger was completed. He surprised me with a weekend at the mountain cabin where we'd had our first weekend away. Between kisses in front of the fireplace, he whispered, I always knew you were unstoppable. Our success meant we could take real vacations now. 2 weeks in Japan, exploring ancient temples and modern cities, holding hands through cherry blossom parks. 1 year after the acquisition, Horizon Simply was featured in Business Weekly as a case study in effective rebranding. Our client retention rate was the highest in the industry. My simple approach had revolutionized how our clients connected with their customers. Diana eventually became our Chief Innovation Officer, finding elegant simplicity where she once created complexity. The woman who fired me now considered me a mentor. Life has a beautiful way of coming full circle. Standing in my office, the same corner office that once belonged to the Horizon CEO, I often look out at the city skyline and think about that devastating first day. Sometimes the most painful rejections lead us exactly where we need to be. My simplicity wasn't a liability. It was my greatest asset. Nathan and I are expecting our first child now. Last week, as we painted the nursery a soft yellow, he wrapped his arms around my growing belly and whispered, You'll teach our child that being authentic is always enough. And in that perfect moment, I knew that the greatest success isn't buying the company that once rejected you. It's building a life rich with love, purpose, and the courage to remain true to yourself, even when the world tells you to change. If you've ever been knocked down and told you weren't enough, this story is for you. Hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that their simplicity might just be their superpower. Remember, success is the best revenge, but love makes it sweeter. This outline provides a strong narrative arc with the romantic elements you requested, while maintaining a compelling revenge success story. The script will develop these points into a full 30-minute narration with natural dialogue and emotional depth.